What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the show. So, we all saw the Barcelona defeat to Sociedad. Sucked. Shitty performance. Most of the players were shitty as hell. The weather sucked. VAR killed us. But at the end of the day, this type of stuff happens, and it is what it is. And you got to take this and learn from it. And it's not the result you wanted, you needed, you expected, but I actually learned a lot from this match. And I'm going to be overly critical because obviously it was a terrible result, terrible performance. I mean, there was not even one shot on target, to be honest. That's crazy. In most of my other videos, I usually praise the players. And obviously, when you have a bad performance like this, I have to critique. So this is going to be a little critical. But there's some stuff that I learned from this match. And even just moving forward with the club and certain players, I'm really going to keep an eye on a couple of these players. And I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say too. So before I jump in, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome everyone. If you guys are not, welcome back. If you guys end up enjoying the video or you guys enjoy the channel, don't forget to drop me a like on the video or subscribe if you guys want. I'd appreciate that. And then more importantly, please comment your thoughts down below because I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys have to say. I'm probably going to throw some controversial shit in here today. So if you guys disagree, let me know. But let's jump in and discuss the match and then more importantly these players and what we kind of saw from them. So before I actually critique the players and everything, it's you can't expect to win a match 1-0. I mean, you can, but rarely are you going to be able to win matches 1-0 consistently. So I can't say Barcelona lost because of that VAR decision, but what I do want to say is it's 2024, almost 2025, and that is despicable. I mean, when you actually look, it was the Sociedad's defender whose foot was actually keeping Lewandowski onside. The goal should have stood. At first, I didn't think it did, but after I saw these different angles and a lot of images, it looked like it should have stood. And if that's the case, that's extremely disappointing because imagine if that was Real Madrid that it happened against, you would never hear the end of it, and I guarantee you it would have been their goal would have stood. Or imagine this was a World Cup final or a big World Cup match or a Champions League match. It's just embarrassing. And I truly can't believe that it didn't stand. And that would have changed the entirety of the match. And it would be a shame if the end of the season, if this came down to like 1 or 2 points and Barca lost because of this match, that would be insane. And I hope that's not the case. That's done. I'm disappointed, but moving on. It was a bad performance. I don't even want to analyze the match specifically. And, I usually write down notes. I didn't even do that. The only person I could say was kind of at least a constant was Pedri. At least he had like a good work ethic and he was always trying to create something, play these through balls or beat someone. He would get the ball and push and press, but it was a bad performance. Specifically from Lewandowski was horrible. Fermin Lopez was a ghost. He was non-existent in the first half. I was disappointed in Raphinha, but I want to touch on Raphinha a lot because as great of a season as he's had, and this isn't just this match, but it makes you realize after this match, right? Because Lamine Yamal was not playing. And what does Lamine Yamal bring? Obviously, he brings you everything. But what he does best is beats players one-on-one. And he's incredibly skilled. He gets guys off balance. He creates space. And he's a fantastic passer. He's a playmaker. That's what he is. He's a playmaker. How many times do we see him play these perfect balls, driven to Raphinha, Trivelas? He creates so many opportunities, and a lot of Raphinha's goals come from perfect balls being played to him. Now, yes, you have to finish, but with Lamine Yamal out, you need someone to play direct and to beat players one-on-one. Raphinha didn't do it. Louis didn't do it. Fermin Lopez didn't do it. Raphinha never does it. As a Brazilian, what makes me really disappointed with Raphinha is, as a Brazilian, they pride themselves on flair, their dribbling ability, beating guys one-on-one. It's only natural he's going to get compared right now a little bit to Vinicius. And I think they're different players, but because they're both playing on the left wing, they're both Brazilian, both having good seasons, I hate Vinicius. I can't stand him. But he's so good. He is so direct and is so dangerous and beats guys one-on-one and is arguably the best player right now in the world on the ball, at least one of them. Raphinha doesn't come close in that aspect. He does not attempt ever to beat a guy one-on-one or dribble down the line and then try and cut in and do something. How many times do we see that from Vinicius? He's toying with guys, rolling the ball over left and right, step over, trying to get fouled, draws a foul, outside the box, inside the box. Raphinha needs to be better at that. He has to, especially with Lamine Yamal out. You have to play direct. You have to beat someone one-on-one because we could see crossing the balls in did nothing. Nothing. They didn't even get one shot on target. And I feel like the whole end of the second half, all they were trying to do were cross these balls in. They never made it. They need to play more direct. They have to. Raphinha needs to do that better. And this is where, when you get players like Nico Williams, he would do that. He would be someone that not only is going to stretch the pitch, make good runs, he's going to actually take players on one-on-one, which is so important. In Barcelona, those players pride themselves on their dribbling ability and skill, and I have to see that from Raphinha, and I just don't. The only other player that will do that is Dani Olmo. Now, he's my second player that I want to critique, and it's not even what he did today, it's just him in general. It's actually just crazy. I feel like every single match now, I never know if he's going to be fit. It was like gastroenteritis or something. Like, I assume that's inflammation of his stomach. There probably something wrong with his stomach. It's always something with him. And to get him for a contract for, what is it, 4, 5, 6 years, that's a lot. That's a big commitment to someone where they're always injured. And it really, really makes me wonder, do I feel comfortable with Dani Olmo in this squad? And can we rely on him week in and week out? Because if he was healthy all the time, I wouldn't have one concern, because every time he plays, he's always contributing and he's always creating opportunities. But it has nothing to do with the way he plays. It has everything to do with his health and his availability, because I'm just nervous that he's always going to be injury prone, and I don't want to worry about that. That's where, when you look at other players where you could potentially see, we should maybe consider getting them, like a Nico Williams or Florian Wirtz, and I feel like they're more of a constant. That's my big concern with Raphinha, is the way that he doesn't play direct and try and beat players, and then Dani Olmo and his health. It makes me extremely nervous. I also want to say, and again, you can agree, you can disagree, and that's completely fine. I am not sold on, not sold is one, I don't even know if that's the right word. Fati, I just don't think he's it. I don't care that he doesn't play much. I just, everyone wants to give him an excuse. Well, he's kind of been a little injured. He doesn't have confidence. Dude, he's been at Barca for a while. There's no reason he shouldn't have confidence. Just play. You've played football your whole life. Just play, dude. It's not like you're playing in the Champions League final. You're playing against Sociedad. He's not it. You can usually see, okay, well, there's glimpses. It's there. It's not there with him. And I think you really, really have to consider something, whether it's sending Ferran Torres plus 15 million or Fati plus money to Dortmund to get Adeyemi, to do something, because that's a player where he's so dangerous and so fast, and every time he gets the ball or someone's playing a through ball, you're like, oh shit, they're going to score. Whenever Fati is on the pitch or is on the ball, I'm like, I just don't think he's it. And I'm not going to say I'm not sold on Fermin, but Fermin is a player where he's just always going to be a bench player. He's not good enough to start. He has moments, and you're gonna be like, oh well, he scored against Real Madrid last year. He was assisting in one of the goals that Barca scored against Madrid this season. Yes, he has his moments, but as a whole, he's not good enough to consistently start. And I don't know why he was playing as the left winger. He was completely useless when he was out there. I didn't understand that. I'm not sold on it. He's good. He's good to come in against certain teams and give us 20, 30 minutes maybe, but he needs to get better. And I don't know how much longer we're going to be like, oh, well, he's still young. We got to develop him. No, I need more consistency from him, because moments are one thing. Like, oh, that, like, he's very good in specific moments, but overall, I need to see more from Fermin Lopez. Everyone else, look, Pedri, he's been great all season. It wasn't his best match, but you can't critique Pedri, because him and Casado are the two constants, two of the big constants this entire season. But Frankie de Jong, on the other hand, he's such a question mark, because the one time this match where he actually takes the ball and tries to press up and play direct, Barca scores off it. He gets the ball in midfield, dribbles up, tries to shoot, which was a terrible shot, by the way, but it ends up getting like deflected. I think that's how the goal that Lewandowski scored that should have been actually awarded. I think that's actually how that started. So like that's what happens when you play direct, but it's like he's anti-hustle. It's like he wants to play lazy and slow, and it's so frustrating, because he is like the perfect player in the Flick system, because he's so skilled and can control a match and somewhat dictate possession, and he's a good passer, but it's like he just refuses to play forward and attack. It's so frustrating, and I just don't know long term anymore, even after the season, if it makes sense to keep him. Again, I'm not saying he was bad or he's terrible, but fitting in this puzzle now, does it even make sense? I don't know, because you can see it's miles different when Dani Olmo is Cam versus anybody else. When Dani Olmo is on the pitch with Casado and Pedri, it's like unstoppable. But when he's not on the pitch and then Frankie de Jong is on the pitch, it's just slow and it's just not fun to watch. It's not direct and it's got to change. So again, we'll keep giving him a couple more chances, but again, it's going to be very very interesting to see what this looks like with Frankie de Jong over the next month or two, because I really have a feeling that this is his last year and he's going to be gone. And I honestly don't think I'll lose any sleep over it. Last, honestly, the defense sucks. I don't know how Barca didn't get scored on against Real Madrid more, or Bayern, or even today. And Iñaki Peña had a pretty good match. He had a couple great saves. Barcelona, and you'll say it's not lucky, it's the trap. It's some. Hypothetically, if Mbappe had any sense of intelligence and realized that he's the fastest guy on the pitch by a mile and holds his run by a half a step, he probably has 3 or 4 goals against Barcelona, because there were like 2 or 3 almost breakaway opportunities he had against Barca that he didn't finish. Barcelona's defense got lucky a little bit against Real Madrid and even against Bayern and even other matches too. They're going to start getting exposed and they need to mark up better, and we need Araujo back because Cabarsi's kind of slow and I don't know who starts when Araujo ends up starting. Is it going to be Inigo or is it going to be Cabarsi? But the defense makes me so nervous. I don't know how Sociedad didn't have 2 or 3 goals this match, and they're so slow and they do not mark up right. And that's going to come down, I think, one of the big things that's going to bite him in the ass at the end of the season. But it's very, very frustrating the way that this result played. And I'm really interested to see how these players adapt moving forward. And some of these players, like, we have to see more. And like even Raphinha, like, he's been great, but we have to see more directness from Raphinha because you need that in an attacking player. And it's like he refuses to do it, just like Frankie. He refuses to play attacking in the slightest. I get it, you're more of a holding midfielder, but some of these players are really, really pissing me off in the way that they play. And I just think there could be better alternatives elsewhere. So we'll see. Let me know what you guys think about this down below. Do you think that maybe getting a player like Nico or Adeyemi or even Florian Wirtz, players that are more direct and way better at taking guys on one-on-one, could they be more beneficial at times than players like, Fermin Lopez or Raphinha? So let me know what you guys think about that down below. What are your thoughts about the match? What did you take away from that? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys back here next time. Peace.